everyone. So in a previous video, I alluded to the new leads section within HubSpot, and I wanted to show you what this actually looks like, what it does, and how to actually get started with your team if you decide to use it. Let's get in and take a look. So I'm here inside of HubSpot, and where I actually am is on the prospecting dashboard. So before I can tell you how to set up leads and how to get started, I want to give you some context into how this all plays into what's already into HubSpot. So this is part of a sales hub feature, and what you're noticing on the prospecting dashboard is this is really a place that allows us to do everything in one spot as a rep. So I can come in here, I can see all my activities based off my goals, which is really cool. I can see what my tasks are for the day, any overdue tasks, if I have any sequences going, what the status of those are, and then a section down here that's actually going to split out my leads based off of the status that they're in. And I can sift through this, or I can use the lead tab here to literally go through each lead as well. So what you're going to see when you click into somebody is a brand new feature that we are going to talk about, which is essentially the lead journey. Now, unlike Salesforce, a lead is not a separate object. So just want to make sure everybody understands that up front. What this is a segment of contacts within your database. So we still have contacts, companies, etc. Leads are not a separate object. What you're going to actually do is categorize certain contacts as a lead, and then they will show up here in your prospecting database here. So let's talk a little bit about how this is set up and what you can do to get started. What you're going to want to do first before we even look at the back end is make sure that you're opted into these betas. If you're not sure where that is, do go into product updates, and then there's a section there for betas. So first, let's go into your settings and talk about how this works. So we are going to be under data management, under objects, and under leads. And there's a couple settings that you are going to want to put in place that are going to enable this creation to occur. Now, if you don't want your teams to start this process, do make sure you have these off as you're playing with it. But if you don't mind, you can go ahead and make sure that these are on when you want to go live. And then what you're going to be doing is you're setting a lead based on lifecycle stage. So in this case, we have lead status here, the lifecycle stage lead, to be able to categorize somebody as a lead to show up in my prospecting leads. So this is optional in terms of what you choose. You can choose multiple if you like, but essentially as a contact or a company hits these lifecycle stages, they will then be created as a lead. The second thing that you're going to have an option to do is also set a lifecycle stage when a lead is associated. So let's say you have a contact that is not yet a lead, where the automation will take care of that for you up here. We can actually have HubSpot say, hey, I just created this contact into a lead, which I'll show you in a second. So please associate them with the lifecycle lead or SQL or whichever that you want to be able to do. So the second thing you're going to do is lead stages. This is going to give us that lovely little journey chart that we talked about here. And the reason that this is really helpful is that you can actually customize this. So you can't delete things just yet, but you can add them and you can rename them as well. So as we start to interact with somebody automatically, which is really cool, it's going to change the stage that lead is in. The reason I got excited and said automatically is that for so long we have had to use lead statuses and then use automation to find the actions that would move the lead status forward. And now we don't have to do that. It's all here in your lead stages. So you've got your new, and then under in progress, we have attempting and connected, which is going to pull from emails, calls, and then the one underneath it is also going to be if it is connected, if a meeting is booked, or if you get a reply then it's going to show as connected versus attempted. This does also work with meetings, by the way. So if you log it as a call or log it as a meeting, it'll take the same way, and I'll show you that. And then you'll have a qualified stage. And when this happens, we can actually require that a deal is created. So this is very similar to that flow that we're all used to in Salesforce, that when a lead becomes a contact, it gets associated to an opportunity. That's simply what it is here too. So this is optional, but a lot of my teams are going to find this really useful. And then lastly, unqualified. So when somebody decides that they are disqualified as a lead, we can actually ask them for a disqualification reason, and we're going to be able to capture this and customize these as well. And I love that they gave us some DQ reasons off the bat, because that just makes things so much easier. Okay, so now that you know how this is set up, let's take a look at how contacts turn into prospects and then turn into leads. So let's go into our contacts here. So first of all, as I already mentioned, if you change somebody into a lead, for example, we will be able to see them automatically turn into a lead in the system. But the other way that you can also do this is that you can select. So let's pretend we select all of these. All you have to do is hit create lead. And then you're just deciding which stage on the pipeline you are going to add them. So are they new? Is it attempting? And you could do this for people on your team as well. So let's say sales managers, sales admins, operational managers. If you want to assign leads to your reps to start working, you can do this in the same way. And based off of the contact owner is whose lead pipeline essentially it'll show into. But if I hit create, all of these contacts are now going to be switched over into a lead. And so when I go into my sales prospecting dashboard and I come down here, I now have all my new leads because those are all assigned to me. And I can hit this follow up with leads section, which is almost like a task view. I really love this actually. It gives us a really nice way of working through these records. And when I send an email, and I'm going to find someone who has an actual email address, here we go. So when I send an email, what you'll notice is that the contact will be associated with that information. And so now that I've emailed this person, I logged a meeting and this meeting was marked as completed, it automatically moved this individual from new to a attempting. What I think is also really interesting is that I actually created 2 leads for this contact accidentally. Maybe an interesting loophole in the future or something really helpful. This could actually be really helpful for teams that are doing things like upsells, renewals, etc., because I could have an older lead that then now cycles back through the lead statuses, lead stages again, because I'm trying to reach out to them to renew. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. So if I send an email, if I log or if I call them, I have air call out here, and it calls and then logs that, those statuses are going to move automatically, which is great. And then I can also move this. So if I say I've connected with them and now I've qualified them, what it's going to do, because I chose it in the system, is it's going to pop open a deal. It's going to require me to fill out any of those deal stages. And then this person is basically now an opportunity. And if I choose disqualified, it's going to ask me what was the reason. And then it's also going to ask, do I want to follow up? So this is great because if they have, I don't see timing on here. Oh, bad timing. So if it's a bad timing reason, we can create a task for us to call or email or follow up. This is like in a month, but you have some presets here. And then we can also write ourselves a note. So, timing wasn't right because of a renewal looming, for example. So when I disqualify this lead, it's now going to push them to DQ'd. And then what's cool about that is they're going to fall out of my statuses. So they won't be a lead that I need to follow up with anymore. So there you have it. That's your first look at the lead prospecting tools within HubSpot. And as more features continue to roll out post inbound, we'll be sure to keep you all updated. Have any questions? Reach out.